This is video 1, Urgent Conversions, Introduction Part 4. Let's continue with conversion B, the purification or everyday conversion. Actions to make the everyday conversion are: intensify spiritual life, especially prayers, fasting and good actions, working on to get rid of all sins as much as possible, having discipline in spiritual life and in everyday life, trying to be a good Catholic and wanting to end life as a saint as much as possible, praying to God, Virgin Mary, saints, guardian angel and Saint Michael the Archangel for help, and being persistent in that, doing good prayers, praying with heart, not thinking on other things when praying, reading the Bible, the Catechism of the Catholic Church, biographies of saints, Catholic literature, working on to know better the Catholic faith, trying to be close to God and knowing Him more, keeping out of all acts, thoughts and wishes that would harm the relationship with God, taking care of not making sins, going to pilgrimage, lectures and conferences that can help in having deeper spiritual life, being nice and good to everyone, helping without interest to everybody as much as possible, etc. These would be in brief general recommendations for laicos. Religious people have much more and specific elements of spiritual life for what I am not an expert to talk about. C. The preparation for the encounter with God when meeting Him in the illumination of conscience, in the new world of the saved faithful people, and also if we die. Examples of conditions before this preparation and during its realization are: being too much occupied with oneself, family, job, profession, vocation, hobbies, etc. All this can become God to many people. Not looking around to see what is happening in the world and in the church, not wanting or not being interested in knowing history, at least the newest one, to see what are the current trends and what are their causes. Then what is not being interesting about what is happening around us, not working on own education about their own faith and the church, not being alert, awake and vigilant, contrary to the Lord's command in the Bible about this issue, not preparing oneself to have a clear and good relationship with God in the case of death, not thinking about own sins and omissions and how to get rid of them, to ensure not to fall into hell after death, behaving as foolish virgins in the Bible, reading and interpreting the Bible based on all law of own knowledge and skills, but not guided by the Holy Spirit and not taking into account the church teaching and tradition, being of hard heart, cold and close, and at the same time full of pride with respect to God's ways of contacting people during the last 2000 years, skeptic, not accepting and being against all private revelations which were approved by the Catholic Church, rejecting, denying and preventing the spread of all private revelations, acting without the discernment gift of the Holy Spirit. Among many private revelations and things alike experienced by Catholics and not Catholics in the present time worldwide, it is impossible that all are false. At least one fraction is true. Rejecting or neglecting to observe the existing signs of the end times in nature, in the human society and in the church, as foretold by Jesus in the Bible and by many canonized saints. Wanting to command God when and how He should talk or not to talk to someone in private revelations. Acting against the foretold private revelations in the Bible. See the end of the book of Revelation. If being at a position with responsibility to faithful people, not preparing them for the end times and the things that are coming, preventing such preparations, as well as not talking about issues which would turn people away from sins, not talking about the existence of devil and evil spirits, about hell, sins, the chastisement, the end times, about preparation for death and encounter with God, about shelters in the time of the chastisement for the faithful remnant, etc., etc., etc. And this list is endless also. Actions to make the preparation for the encounter with God in case of death, in case of martyrdom during the chastisement, in case of going to shelters in the eve of the chastisement. The purification continues in the shelters where we have much more intensive life with God than now. These actions are wanting to be well informed about the current situation, possible future developments, and working on this issue, praying to God intensively and persistently to show you the truth. What should you do? Reading about the end times from the Bible, Book of Revelation, Matthew 24, Book of Daniel, and other relevant parts. And reading other Catholic literature, especially from canonized saints, for example, Saint Francis of Assisi, Saint Mariana Francisca de Jesus Torres Iberio Ochoa, Saint Bridget of Sweden, Blessed Marie-Julie Jacheny, Blessed Anne-Catherine Emmerich, Saint Faustina Kowalska, Saint Hildegard of Bingen, and many others. Listen to some private revelations and verify them with the discernment you prayed for. Don't ignore Medjugorje revelations and other Marian apparitions, Fatima, Lourdes, La Salette, Akita, Kibeho, all approved by the Church and others, in which the end times are addressed. Listen, study, pray, and discern. Keep away from the extremes, automatic, uncritical rejection or acceptance of private revelations. Test everything, keep what is good. Do spiritual and even physical preparations for the things that are coming. There are several Catholic channels about this stuff. Consecrate yourself to the most sacred heart of Jesus and to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Try to go towards sainthood as much as possible during these times we still have. Love God and people truly. Do not judge anybody, because we are fighting against evil spirits, not against our brothers and sisters. Try to help everyone. If being at responsible position, do your part in preparing the people for the end times, the chastisement and what comes after that, etc. Because the time is short, stages B and C go in a parallel manner. Just B begins some time before C. Each three stages are important. Ignoring C and just staying satisfied with B is risky, and besides, such behavior is not logical, it does not follow the Bible, and it prevents the person in helping other people to be prepared for what is coming. In other words, ignoring C means that we miss helping others which could be saved at the right time, and also means that we won't be strong enough to fight against very refined deceptions of evil spirit. What is to come in near future.